The sun was shining on the sea, shining with all its might. He did his very best to make the billows smooth and bright. And this was odd because it was the middle of the night. The moon was shining sulkily because she thought the sun had no business to be there after the day was done. It's very rude of him, she said, to come and spoil the fun. The sea was wet as wet can be, the sands were dry as dry. You could not see a cloud because there was no cloud in the sky. No birds were flying overhead, there were no birds to fly. The Walrus and the Carpenter were walking close at hand. They wept like anything to see such quantities of sand. If this were only cleared away, they said, it would be grand! If 7 Mays with 7 mops swept for half a year, do you suppose, the Walrus said, they could get it clear? I doubt it, the Carpenter said, and shed a bitter tear. "Oh, oysters, come and walk with us," the Walrus did beseech. "A pleasant walk, a pleasant talk, along the briny beach. We cannot do with more than 4, to give a hand to each." The eldest oyster looked at him, but never a word he said. The eldest oyster winked his eye, and shook his heavy head, meaning to say he did not choose to leave the oyster bed. But 4 young oysters hurried up, all eager for the treat. Their coats were brushed, their faces washed, their shoes were clean and neat. And this was odd because, they hadn't any feet. 4 other oysters followed them, and yet another 4, and thick and fast they came at last, and more and more and more, hopping through the frothy waves and scrambling to the shore. The Walrus and the Carpenter walked a mile or so, and then they rested on a rock conveniently low, and all the little oysters stood and waited in a row. "The time has come," the Walrus said, "to talk of many things, of shoes and ships and sealing wax, of cabbages and kings, and why the sea is boiling hot and whether pigs have wings." "But wait a bit," the oyster cried, "before we have our chat, for some of us are out of breath and all of us are fat." "No hurry," said the Carpenter. They thanked him much for that. "A loaf of bread is what we chiefly need. Pepper and vinegar besides are very good indeed. Now if you're ready, oysters dears, we can begin to feed." "But not on us," the oysters cried, turning a little blue. "After such kindness, that would be a dismal thing to do." "The night is fine," the Walrus said. "Do you admire the view?" "It was so kind of you to come, and you are so very nice." The Carpenter said nothing but, "Cut us another slice. I wish you were not quite so deaf. I've had to ask you twice." "It seems a shame," the Walrus said, "to play them such a trick, after we brought them out this far and made them trot so quick." The Carpenter said nothing but, "The butt is spread too thick." "I weep for you," the Walrus said. "I deeply sympathize." With sobs and tears he sorted out those of the largest size, holding his pocket handkerchief before his streaming eyes. "Oysters," said the Carpenter, "you've had a pleasant run. Shall we be trotting home again?" But answer there came none, and this was scarcely odd, because they'd eaten every one. So there you have it, The Walrus and the Carpenter, by Lewis Carroll, in his book Adventures Through the Looking Glass and What Alice Saw There or something. Yeah, it's my favorite poem just because I like the lyricism, and you can't help but, sing when you read it. It's a great poem. You should check it out. Yeah, I just wanted to make this video because I liked what Laurel did in the last video, and I wanted to copy her. So yeah, this is going to be a long video. Sorry. Bye. Oh, question of the day. Have you ever had oysters?